Hey guys, it's Ms.Hailey. I hope you all are doing well. Today I'll be reading another story from the 5-Minute Palace Pets. A Perfect Pony for Tiana and the Missing Musician. Bayou lived in a sleepy little country of Maldonia. It was a beautiful and peaceful land full of flowers, tall trees, and mountains. Bayou's days were spent grazing in quiet meadows, running through green pastures, and taking long naps in the palace garden. But now Bayou was moving to a big city. She didn't know what a big city would be like. She wondered if she would still have meadows to run through or a garden to take naps in. But what worried Bayou the most of all was that she would miss her quiet life in Maldonia. Bayou boarded a large ship with Prince Naveen's parents, and they set sail for America. It was a very long voyage from Maldonia to the big city. They sailed across miles and miles of ocean, and the trip took many days. Bayou was beginning to think that they'd never arrive. Finally, the ship pulled into the harbor. Bayou looked up and saw that they had arrived at the port of New Orleans, the city she would soon call home. When Bayou and Prince Naveen's parents stepped off the gangway, there was a lovely lady waiting for them. It was Princess Tiana. Bayou was shy at first, but she was relieved to see that the princess was so happy to meet her, and Tiana had a welcome gift for Bayou. It was a costume. Bayou had arrived on Fat Tuesday just in time for a big Mardi Gras parade, a New Orleans edition. Bayou had never seen a parade before, but this parade was a celebration where everyone ate and danced to music and wore colorful masks and costumes. But this was all new to Bayou. She had never worn a costume before, as wasn't sure that she'd like it. Suddenly, she missed her quiet home and wanted to go back. Tiana could tell that Bayou was feeling uncertain. Luckily, the princess had just the thing to make Bayou smile. Tiana welcomed the little pony to New Orleans with a slice of apple pie she had baked herself. If there is one cure for homesickness, it's sharing a slice of pie with a new friend. The piece of pie perked Bayou right up, and when the pony heard the parade music begin, she couldn't help but twirl and trot. The more she pranced, the better she felt. And as she danced, she admired her costume, twinkling in the starlight. Bayou decided her costumes weren't so bad after all. The Mardi Gras parade was an amazing sight to see. The streets of New Orleans were decorated with twinkling lights, vibrant banners, and strands upon strands of brightly colored beads. Bayou and Tiana watched as floats big and small went by. They loved seeing everyone in creative costumes, but Tiana still had one more surprise for Bayou. Tiana led Bayou onto a float, and the two became part of the parade. To Bayou, being in a parade was even better than watching it. As a crowd around the float clapped and cheered for the little pony, Bayou suddenly became very excited for her new life with Tiana in the big city. The next day, Tiana introduced Bayou to her best friend, Charlotte Bayouf. Bayou would live in the stables at the LaBeouf's estate. There was a large green pasture for Bayou to enjoy and a garden perfect for afternoon naps. Then Tiana took Bayou to her world-class restaurant in downtown New Orleans. Having her own restaurant was Tiana's dream come true, just as having a friend like Tiana was Bayou's. Nowadays, Tiana and Bayou spend their time together exploring the big city. New Orleans is loud and lively and very different from Bayou's quiet palace in Maldonia, but the little pony has learned to love her jazzy new home, and she could never dream of leaving Tiana's side. The Missing Musician. The streets of New Orleans were buzzing with excitement. Prince Naveen's jazz band was going to perform that evening at the Princess Tiana's restaurant. Bayou couldn't wait for the concert. The little puppy had special spring in her step as she walked down the street with Tiana in the cool air. Tiana's kitten Lily waited at the front steps of the restaurant to greet the princess and Bayou. Tiana gave Lily a quick pet and thanked Bayou for the escort before she ducked inside to help prepare for the evening festivities. Both pets could tell that Tiana was a bit nervous. There was going to be a full house at the restaurant that night for the concert. Everything had to be perfect. Bayou was excited to hear Prince Naveen and his star trumpet player, Louis, perform that evening. She was ready to prance and dance to the music, but as soon as Tiana was out of sight, Lily pulled Bayou aside and whispered, "Louis is late." "But the band can't play without Louis," Bayou replied. "What should we do?" Lily and Bayou looked through the window of the restaurant and saw all the guests eagerly waiting for the concert to begin. The animals knew that everyone would be disappointed if Louis didn't show up, but the last thing Tiana needed was a restaurant full of unhappy customers. Lily and Bayou had to do something to save the show, and they had to do it quickly. "The show must go on," said Lily. "Let's find Louis." Then she led the way down the cobblestone street of New Orleans with her best pony pal right on her tail. As they hurried towards the bayou where Louis lived, a few fireflies joined the pets to light their way. Bayou and Lily were thankful for the fireflies as their surroundings grew darker the farther they ran from the city lights. As they walked down the path, Lily and Bayou could hear crickets chirping throughout the marsh, frogs croaking down by the water, and owls hooting from up in the trees. It was as though there was a whole orchestra hiding just out of sight. Lily's tail rustled like the bush of a jazz drum against the bushes. Swish, swish, swishity swish. Meanwhile, Bayou's hooves beat at the cobblestone, low and full, like a stand-up bass. Bum, 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 diddity bum. Bayou liked the way her hooves sounded on the stones and wondered what it would be like to be in a real band. With Lily's tail and Bayou's hooves, maybe they could make their own music. Soon the fireflies had led Lily and Bayou through the marsh, joined hundreds of their twinkling friends. The fireflies surrounded a little old house in a sparkly glow. It was Louis's house. The alligator's windows were open, and Lily and Bayou could hear Louis snoring inside. They needed to wake him up right away. But how? Louis had fallen asleep because he had been practicing for the big performance all day. Suddenly, something stirred him for his slumber. Bum, 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 diddity bum. Swish, 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 bum, bum, diddity bum. Swish, swish, swish. Lily and Bayou's jazz beats were all Louis needed to jump up out of his bed. "The concert!" Louis cried. The alligator grabbed his trumpet, and the three friends made their way back through the marsh, making music together as they hurried along. Lily and Bayou and Louis reached the restaurant just in time, and the trumpet star didn't waste another minute. He hopped on the stage with Prince Naveen, and the band began to play. The dinner guests cheered. The band performed song after song deep into the night, but the audience still wanted more. Lily and Bayou enjoyed the concert too. They danced and pranced and even added their own melodies from time to time. When the concert finally ended, there was not one unhappy customer in sight. The evening had been perfect. When it was time to go home, Princess Tiana came outside and thanked Bayou and Lily. She knew it must have been her two favorite pets who saved the show. Lily and Bayou may make great music together, but they make even a better team. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed that story. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!